Good Thursday morning, my friends. We're back. We're today with some special friends from the beautiful area of British Columbia. They work with Navigate and are doing some just pretty awesome stuff out there. So we wanted to highlight what it is that they're doing. So Marika, Jennifer, welcome today. Thanks for joining us for the show. As always, everybody, you know how we like to do things. We're going to have in the comment section, we want to know who you are. We want to know where you're from. So start commenting. The Navigate team is going to talk through some cool things that they're doing to help prepare their teachers and other things for what everybody's going through right now. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Marika first.
Great, thanks, Mark. Hi, everyone. I'll start by telling you a little bit about us. Navigate is a K to adult distributed learning school. We have many blended programs as well as a large number of students who are fully online with us. 2 years ago, we changed learning management systems. We moved from an LMS we've been with for 15 years to Canvas. And while we're still learning all there is to know about Canvas, we immediately noticed that this LMS was much more intuitive, easier to use, and presented many possibilities for increasing teacher and learner engagement within the LMS itself. When we shut down in March, I think there was a general consensus amongst our teachers that things wouldn't change too much as they were already teaching online. But many teachers communicated to me that they were surprised at how challenging it in fact was. So working from home with family interruptions, trying to look after or teach their own children, etc. So in BC, we really focused on the social emotional learning piece, and our goal was to ensure that students were safe, healthy, and connected. And in that process, I think we sometimes tend to forget about the social emotional needs of our teachers as well. So hopefully today, Jen and I will show you some ways that you can utilize the Canvas LMS to not only build community and connection, but to make our jobs more manageable when working under challenging circumstances. So I'm going to start with just a little funny. One doesn't simply create a course in Canvas. The way it actually is that simple. It's one thing that I know Jen will speak to later as well. Switching over to Canvas, just the simplicity, the ease of use, the intuitiveness of it has been a real positive for us and our district. So I just wanted to share, I was at a conference in Vancouver a few years ago where Brian Ham was one of the keynotes, and he talked about online and blended learning being social and what it is that keeps students engaged. Brian talked about experiences, how the content in education is the what, and the experience or the relationship is the why. And one piece that really stuck out for me was that students don't buy the best content, they buy the best experience. And part of that experience is relationship. So I always ask myself, what am I developing as an experience? This is a really great infographic by Michelle Pacansky-Brock around humanizing, and that students really need to relate to the course beyond the content, and they need that realness. That relationship between the instructor and student is really at the heart of the learning process. And in the online learning environment, this relationship often falls by the wayside as the focus tends to be more on the content and working through the content. And as Brian Ham said, if students are not there for the content, but the experience or the relationship, what can we do to create that connection and build that community? So in online communities, I, as the teacher, become a critical component, and often I may represent the entire school for the learner as well. So I think as skilled instructors, we can create just as compelling a relationship and a learning environment online as students may experience face-to-face, but we need to make sure that we plan it and design it deliberately. And it has to also be done in a way that the instructor's workload can be controlled as well. So this facilitation piece here is really where the magic lies. This is where things happen in the moment, and this is where your experience is built. The presence piece, so don't be a robot. They need to see you as a real person, and that's that humanizing piece. Be empathetic, be approachable. Let them know that you're available, be real, and be intentional with your students. And the awareness piece, who are your students? Get to know them and what is going on for them. So I would like to share just a few things, a few examples that have worked well for me. And one really quick and simple way is to just create an initial welcome video so students can see and hear you. They can connect with you as a human being. And this is super easy and really quick to do right in Canvas, right on your homepage. Also, creating an initial student survey can tell you a lot about your students and what is happening for them. For example, if a student says they are feeling apprehensive, say, about the class, you can be proactive and check in with them and make them feel more comfortable. So again, these forms, this is an example of a Google form, and it can be embedded right into your Canvas classroom. And two really quick and easy activities that I've used both with adults and elementary age students that make use of third-party tools that integrate pretty seamlessly right within Canvas. One is hashtag selfie, and I have to get credit for this to Alec Kuros, who has used this in his classes before. Really simple, using Padlet as a third-party integration tool, and students just create 5 hashtags about themselves, post a picture on the Padlet right within Canvas, and just a really quick, simple way to build connection and create that humanness in your course. And another one is using Flipgrid to create an introduction video. So creating a video, you could ask a question, and students can respond to each other as well. So 2 just really quick, simple ways to build community amongst your students and get to know them. So the next thing I'd like to do is I'm just going to stop sharing the presentation for a second here. And I'm just going to share a quick video with you. This is a snippet of a video created by Melissa Mullis. Melissa is one of our blended elementary teachers. She teaches grades 3 through 8, and she's created a wonderful video with tips and tricks for blended learning. I'd be happy to share this link with anyone who's interested as well. And here's just a minute or 2 of Melissa sharing how she uses Canvas for elementary students.
Process. So next I want to show you what I've been doing to try and follow my own advice here by creating one primary access point and easing them into the different technologies needed. So this is my online homeroom in my Canvas course. And so this is where I have all of my students start their year. This is the first thing that they receive their username and password for. And they come into here to get their first activities. In DL schools, we're required to have some activation, getting started assignments. We need to show that our students are engaged in their learning over the first month. And this is where they come in to do that. So I find that by funneling them into this homeroom course right from the get-go, they start to become familiar with the technology in Canvas. And then this is how I lead them out to the other technologies and programs that they are going to be using throughout the course of the year. So with this, I have announcements. So I post those throughout the year to keep students and their families up to date on what's happening, a little bit of information about what this site is for. And then I have a video that I've uploaded to the homeroom site that walks students through how to use it and where to find different information. So for example, I have a course syllabus, which is really just contact information for me. Included. So in the video, I show them how to access that and then how to get into what they need to do over the first 4 weeks of their program. So in here, I've recently just posted some summer learning resources, and it's a bit of a work in progress. So hopefully you find some different ways and design tools to use. I've been using Canva, which is an online sort of design tool, Canva, and I find it really great. Still learning how to use it and do things that look visually appealing. like I said, it's a work in progress. We learn new things each year. And then throughout the year, I post monthly overviews here, and these are links to what the students need in order to access their work for that time. So for example, in weeks 1 to 4, they click here, and it will bring in an overview. And again, there's a video introducing the week, and I include links to whatever site or resource that they are going to need to do in order to complete this activity. So I mentioned before that I have a second tool that we use a lot called Seesaw, and this is where students are posting their work and their e-portfolio samples. So I just make sure that they're able to access it from this home page so that they don't have to go and type a separate URL in. It's all from one place, and it also has another button on the side of the page that they can access from there as well. So then I have other links here, things like Brain Pop, Language Nut, Typing Pal, Raz Kids that we use a lot throughout the program. Again, they can come into this page and they can access it directly from in here. So again, no need to start typing URLs in. Eventually they know where they need to go. But at first, this is sort of that hub that just provides them some sense of direction. So it's really easy, and it takes some of that thinking and problem solving out at the beginning when there is a lot of thinking and problem solving to be done. Okay, and back to our slideshow here. So that Canvas homeroom was one way that I've sort of looked at my planning and tried to adjust.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. This is a great video that I'll figure out with Mark a way to share that link for you. Lots of tips and tricks around blended learning in there. I'll just go back to the presentation. And I'll just finish up with a few slides with some quick tips for you. So using multiple means to communicate within your learning management system can really help to build community and relationships. Using videos, as I said, an introductory video on your homepage, using videos to instruct or narrate lessons, giving video or audio feedback, using Zoom or Skype, or whichever tool your district might be using to connect with students, and even social media platforms as well. Announcements are a really great tool to use within Canvas. When you post an announcement, it actually pops up for students. It can remind students to log into their course. It can show that you're involved. Really good idea to do this on a regular basis. You can summarize discussions or questions using announcements. If you are having students email you with similar questions, use an announcement to answer it for them. You can explain things that are coming up, share resources, and again, you can use multiple methods in your announcements, such as video, audio, or text. And being empathetic, going back to that empathy piece. So being approachable and showing students how to reach you and where they can go for help, reaching out to students individually, and using your awareness to support students. And you can gain that awareness of student needs through those learner surveys, through icebreakers, and through regular check-ins, and that will really allow you to be proactive with them as well. And here are some icebreaker reminders that help. Icebreakers can help students and instructors get to know each other. They can connect students to each other. They can set the tone for participation and interaction. It builds trust between you and the students and each other. And it also helps them familiarize them to the learning management system or to the course. I've often used a scavenger hunt of the course as an icebreaker as well, and that's worked really well. So a few final reminders. So the digital form of eye contact, using their name in your correspondence, in your discussions, in your feedback. Get personal, share information that lets them know that you're a real person, so that humanizing aspect of the course. Get synchronous with them, use online drop-in sessions, use Zoom, Skype, or Hangouts, and be present and use tools. So utilize your LMS and use the tools that integrate with your LMS to engage your students. So I will now turn it over to Jen, who will show you how Canvas allowed us to connect teachers. Thanks for listening.
So before we do that, Marika, excellent stuff. For everybody who's listening, some really just incredible tips there at the end. I loved the idea, Marika, of the scavenger hunt. I want you to dig into that just a little bit more for me. So when you did that, what are we talking about? Did you say, hey, go find this within the course, go find this within announcements?
Yeah, absolutely.
Help us understand what it is you did.
Basically, it's familiarizing the students with the course. So the scavenger hunt might be, you have to post one thing to a discussion. You have to read the course syllabus. You could use a quiz tool to have them work their way through. So sometimes with elementary kids, I've hidden little objects within the course. So you need to find, this little character somewhere in the course and tell me where you found it, and just have them maneuver their way through the course and use the different tools that you're using within the course, just to familiarize them with it in a fun way.
Such a great idea. For everybody listening, we're here with our good friends from Navigate NIDES up in beautiful British Columbia. And Marika just finished presenting, and she gave some just fantastic ideas about things that you can do to make sure you're getting the most out of your LMS. I loved the idea of having a scavenger hunt with your students. Now, for some of you, depending on what space you're in, that may seem a little bit gimmicky. It may seem a little bit young, but I think that the point is, let's make sure that our students really know how to navigate this thing that they're going to use to learn over the next little bit. It doesn't have to be a gimmicky, cutesy little thing. It could be for your higher ed students as well. But let's make sure that we kick the year off or the semester off with everybody really understanding how are they going to use this tool that's going to be an education platform for the next little bit. Great job, Marika. Okay, Jen, over to you, my friend.
Okay, and I'm ready to share my screen.
Yep, it's all up.
Okay, and people can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so Marika talked about the student connection piece. I'm going to talk more about how we connected with teachers during the COVID shutdown. So a little bit of background. So we are a distributed learning school within School District 71, the Comox Valley on Vancouver Island. We do service students all over the province of British Columbia, but we are a part of School District 71. So in 2016, as Marika mentioned, we were using an LMS. Our district was really wanting to promote blended learning. For their brick and mortar teachers, they kind of wanted to some uptake with the LMS for brick and mortar teachers, but they weren't really finding that was happening. And it kind of became obvious that the LMS we were using wasn't appropriate for that sort of use. It was too complicated for your regular classroom teacher to not that they didn't have the skills, but they just didn't have the time to sit down and learn it. So we started a process of deciding what LMS to switch to. It was a lengthy progress, took almost a year. We were really careful about it. Involved all the stakeholders, our district tech team, brick and mortar teachers, admin from most of the different schools in the district. Who else was in there? The DL teachers ourselves also were there. And after the process, we decided that Canvas was the winner. So we began moving into Canvas in the fall of 2017. And then by 2018, we were fully up and running. One of the reasons why we thought this was a good time to switch LMSs is because the whole province was coming up with new curriculum. So we figured if we have to build new curriculum anyway, we might as well do it in a system that is going to support everyone in the district accessing the new curriculum. So that was the thought process there. So now we have I think we have 10,000 licenses. So our school has 5,000 plus students. Many of them cross-enrolled. So they're in a high school somewhere in BC, but they're taking a course or two through us. And also every student that enrolls in our district is automatically put into, we use a system called MyEd in BC, and every student goes into MyEd. That's our SMS, our student management system. And then they're automatically enrolled into our Canvas instance once they enroll in School District 71. And all of the teachers are also in there. So if a teacher wanted to, they could create a course in Canvas and enroll all of their own students in there on their own. So then we found that the uptake was much better. We started having a lot more teachers using Canvas in a blended way. So when the shutdown happened, we were actually in a really good position to support our brick and mortar teachers moving their courses online. So the shutdown happened for us, I believe the date was March 17th. We were on spring break and it was announced that all schools in BC would be closing and that teachers had to deliver their curriculum remotely. So as I said, our district was in a good position because we already had almost all courses that are offered in BC K-12 in Canvas already. And we had blueprint versions of all of our course offerings, so made it really quick and easy to share courses or parts of courses with our district teachers, which I'll talk a little bit more about. So we were told as DL teachers, so because we were obviously very comfortable in the system by this time because we've been using it for a couple of years, our admin said to us, do whatever you need to do to support our district brick and mortar teachers to get up and running in Canvas. So we were told any course could be shared. Previously, we had done some course sharing with the district teachers, but we have like math courses and a bunch of electives that we pay a license fee for. So those were sort of off limits to the district teachers, but we were told even if they want a math course that a license is paid for, go ahead and share it with them. And it did turn out that a number of license course providers ended up waiving the license fee anyways, which was really great for the last couple of months, for like May and June of last school year. So for Navigate, I think Marika kind of mentioned this, our jobs didn't change in the sense that we were still teaching online from our homes. And well, not that we worked from home before, but we would be in our homes, but we were still doing kind of the same thing in terms of interacting with Canvas and our students. Although our enrollment did start creeping up pretty quickly after students started to think, oh, I don't know when we're going back to school and I really want to get my, math course done. So they would enroll with us. So because our jobs didn't change much other than increased volume, we were in a position to be able to offer some support, to have a bit of time to offer support to our brick and mortar teachers. So that's what we did. And the support looked like, first of all, sharing our curriculum, as I mentioned, and because we have our blueprint courses, all our courses are in blueprint version, and the blueprints are kept very clean. Unless the teacher is actually doing work on the blueprint, there are no teachers in those courses. And the only people that can access them are our district tech team and the people who are Canvas admins at our school, so that they know when someone says, can you give me a copy of English 9, they go right to the blueprint and they know that that is a clean, unadulterated version of English 9, and they can then copy it for the teacher. And then once teachers were made well aware that once they had that course in their possession, it was their course and they could do anything they wanted to it. It doesn't affect the blueprint if teachers make customized courses. So there was that teacher autonomy piece that I think some were concerned that, oh, if I have to teach online and I'm given a course, then I'm stuck with this course and I'm not able to do what I want with it. And that was not the case at all. Once that course is theirs, they could delete, add to, change, whatever they needed to do to make it work for their particular situation. Navigate teachers, we did one-on-one support with district teachers. So I had we use Teams because we have Microsoft in our district. So quite a few Teams meetings with different teachers because they were trying to figure out how to do something or where to get curriculum. One of our district teachers took a look at one of our courses and said, wait a minute, that course isn't quite meeting the learning outcomes. So we actually benefited because I was able to look at that course and go, oh, you're right, there's a few pieces missing, and I added them in. So anyway, it was a good collaboration between ourselves and our district teachers. We did do some Pro D. We have a district tech teacher, and she was organizing weekly Teams tech meetings at anyone in the district, and she sent out an invitation to all teachers in the district. So myself and Melissa, who was the teacher that you heard in that little video clip that Marika shared, did a session on Canvas for our district teachers. And then we even offered some unsolicited support. My daughter, who was in grade 9, received an invitation to join a course in Canvas, and she got an email from her teacher. So she had two teachers at her school. One of them was teaching social studies and English integrated, and then the other one was teaching math and science in an integrated manner. And they got together and decided they were just going to use one course because they had the same students. So they just created one course in Canvas, and they put all of their content in that one course, which was great because it was sort of a one-stop shop. But anyway, she came out and said, I've gotten this email from my math teacher, and he says, go into Canvas and do this assignment, and I cannot find the assignment. So as an admin, I went in and had a look, and he hadn't remembered to publish his module. So I published it for him, and I just sent him a quick email and said, hey, just so you know, you need to publish the modules as your final step before your students can access them. So the Canvas features that really made it easy for brick and mortar teachers to get up and running and for us to support them. First of all, just as Marika mentioned, that little funny thing she shared at the beginning, it's easy to use. It's not intimidating or difficult to learn. We had, as I said, a number of teachers throughout the district at different schools, especially the high schools, had really taken up Canvas and really were doing a lot of great things with it. So that meant that that was another great thing for us, because it meant that a lot of schools had sort of a Canvas advanced user in them. So it wasn't all on the NIDES teachers to do all the support. A lot of cases, teachers were able to go, oh, I know so-and-so is really using Canvas well, so I'll go talk to them. As I mentioned, the blueprints, quick and easy to find and copy the right course. When I did the Pro-D session, I showed the teachers the commons. They were very excited about that feature, and I personally use it a lot when I'm developing courses. You're able to go in there and pretty much any topic you need, a unit, a quiz, a module, anything you need, you can probably find it in commons. And then you import it into your course, and then you can customize it for your own use. And as I mentioned, the collaboration piece, so we had those two teachers at the high school that, as my daughter's teachers, decided they were just going to use one course for all of their stuff. So it was a one-stop shop for their students to find all of the work that they needed to do. And the Canvas user guides, I always tell when I'm supporting teachers, I always say, you know, I'm totally happy to support you, but just so you know, if I'm not available, you can either go into the user guides, and our district does pay for tier 1 support. So there's the chat function, you can phone, you can submit a ticket, and you can get supported in Canvas really quickly, or find out what you need to do really quickly and easily. And then I just, my own personal experiences, I mentioned a couple times my daughter had this stuff in Canvas, and she did have, so her courses that were in Canvas were the math science integrated and the English socials integrated. She got quite a bit of work done. I'm not going to say she did all of it, because of course there was other factors, the stress of the shutdown and everything, but she did quite well, the courses in Canvas. And then she had another teacher that used a different platform, and it was really tough for her to, she didn't honestly get a lot done in that other course, because just having this nice one-stop place with Canvas and then having to log out of that and then go log into something else, it just was kind of daunting given the circumstances. And she didn't really get a whole lot done in that other course. I think if it had been in Canvas, then we probably would have gotten more work done. So just that consistency piece for the teachers and for the students, I think, is really important. And that's all I have.
Wow, wow, everybody. So you just got a lesson. You just got a little bit of an indoctrination, if you will. If anybody here was listening to Marika and Jen, they're doing incredible stuff up in British Columbia. So I'm going to start with my peppering of questions. I know that we've got Jeff and Aaron on the background here. You guys can't see them. I can see them. I know that sounds kind of creepy. It's not. But I know right now they're kind of shaking a little bit like, oh no, is Mark going to ask some questions I don't want him to answer? Don't you worry, Jeff and Aaron. It will all be okay. It will all be okay. Question number 1, Jen. So you talked a lot about blueprints, which I'm a huge fan of. Why don't you tell everybody, you're 10,000 licenses. You're a pretty big size school. What is a blueprint? Let's go back to the very, very basics. And then how easy was that to actually push it out to all of your instructors?
Well, blueprint courses are, it'd be like a master copy of a course. The difference being that you can associate, so you've got your blueprint, and then when you make a copy of that blueprint, which takes, I don't know, a minute, it's really fast to copy courses in Canvas, and it's 100%, you know, some systems you make a copy and things come in all out of order, things don't work. But I find with the blueprints, everything is there, everything's in order. And then if you want to, what you can do is then associate that copied course back to the blueprint. And this has been great for our school, because I mentioned we do have we have a large number of programs. So say for English 9, we probably have 10 copies of English 9 in our school. So we can associate all of those copies of English 9 with the blueprint. And then somebody notices, oh, in Unit 5, Lesson 1, the video is not working anymore. So all you have to do is go into the blueprint, you replace that video with your new video, and then you hit a sync button, and it pushes that change out to everybody's copy of the blueprint. So it just makes it rather than having to send an email to every teacher going, okay, your video's not working, here's the replacement, now you go in and make the changes. It's a kind of a one-stop shop. So we didn't necessarily associate, oh, something's just happened here.
We could still hear you, we could still see you. Yep. We can still hear you, Jen.
So that's what a blueprint is. And it also, like, we didn't, because the district teachers were going to do different things with their courses, we didn't necessarily associate their course with our blueprint. But as I said, just having that clean copy of that course that we know hasn't been modified or changed in any way that a district teacher might not want, it basically just gave them a blank, not a blank canvas, but a canvas to then modify and customize to however they would like to have it, if that makes sense. However it would work for their students and their programs.
Totally.
So yeah, that's
everyone,
blueprints in a nutshell.
Everyone who is watching right now, this is one of the many groups that you ought to look to as just doing really cool stuff with Canvas. They've nailed it. I mean, they went from, you heard the story, they had an LMS for about 15 years. They started an evaluation process and decided that Canvas was right for them. And they've started to enable all of these teachers. I loved what Marika talked about earlier, and just finding these kind of fun ways to help people get familiar with Canvas. We have to do a better job as educators at getting people, educators, students, parents, in a place where they can really know where it is they need to go to find all the information to be able to be successful. Number one, okay, I'm going to ask this question twice, and we're going to go to Marika first. Marika, if you were just starting with your Canvas implementation, top 2, 3, 5, 1, whatever the number is, I don't care. What are the top things that you think people need to remember and think about?
Gosh, all right. I would say the collaboration piece was huge when we implemented with Canvas, and working together with our teachers, working together with Canvas itself, and really utilizing, I think, the support that Canvas provides to help you get set up. I think there's no reason to reinvent the wheel and sort of try and forge ahead and do it all yourself. I think one of the biggest things was the support that Canvas provided for us, and they sort of held our hands all the way through step by step to help us get set up, and then bringing everybody on board in stages. So having our admins be trained, and then having teachers be trained, and I think listening as well, listening to your teachers, your students, what their needs are. We went through a pretty intensive process when we were deciding which LMS to go with, and just listening to all of the stakeholders so that you can ensure that you're setting things up in the best way possible. Sometimes when, as an administrator, you sort of have this lens from up here, but hearing what the students have to say, what their experience is with Canvas, and parents and teachers, and sort of implementing all of those pieces.
Love it. I'm going to add a little editorializing, as I so often do for everyone who's back to watch again. One of the greatest things about Canvas is, without question, the hundreds of thousands of educators, millions, who are using it and are willing to help. If you're not aware, we have a community. Go check out community.canvas LMS. Oh my goodness. community.canvaslms.com. Wow, must be a long day. Go check it out. It's a place where we have 800,000+ educators from around the world who are doing things. Jen talked earlier about Commons, for example. Commons is a place where you can find quizzes, you can find presentations, you can find templates for free that other educators are just saying, here, I created it. I'd like to share this with the rest of the education community. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. The support, the team here is pretty incredible. The community of Canvas rock stars like Marika and Jen and Jeff and others from Navigate is impressive. So jump on the bandwagon and start learning from these really great people. Jen, same question for you. What are the few things, 1 or 2 or 3 things that you think everybody needs to think about when kicking off a new LMS implementation?
My number one thing would be keep in mind it's a massive job. It takes a long time, and it's not something you want to rush, because you want to have good curriculum. You want, like Marika said, you need to make sure that what you're doing is going to work for your teachers and your students and anyone who's going to have to interact with that system. So, don't think you're going to decide tomorrow we're going to use Canvas and then next week you're going to be up and running. It took us pretty much a year to get up and running. And part of that was because we were taking all of our courses out of one LMS system and putting it into Canvas. And then on top of that, we had the new curriculum come down the pike from the ministry. So we had to take a lot of those courses and either start from scratch or do a lot of work on the courses. So that did add, some length to the process. But it's not an easy process, but it is worth it if you decide Canvas is the LMS for you. It's definitely worth the process, taking the time to make sure you do it properly and that you've got really good quality content on there for your students. I definitely think our completion rates have gone up since we've switched to Canvas, just because it is easier to use. And we do have, we have courses that still need work without a doubt. But I think that a lot of our courses, we've learned a lot, and a lot of our courses are really well designed and well organized, and it just really helps with your student success rate. And also I would say, like Marika said, I'd reiterate, do take advantage of the support that Canvas offers. We did feel really supported, and that was one thing. Our old LMS, we didn't necessarily feel supported by them. So then when we moved to Canvas, and we had like Casey Bingham, our success manager, and we had about 5 people on our team. We were like, holy cow, this is great. That were help. They came up and visited us. They came to our school and sat with us and said, how, what can we do to help you? So I think those are the 2 things. It's going to take some time. It's going to be 3 things. It's going to be worth it, and make sure that you utilize the Canvas support as much as needed.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, everybody, we're at time. I got to get these fantastic ladies off to their next things. Jeff is saying, Mark, quit taking so much time. If I was looking at my email, he may have sent me a message saying, Mark, okay, he probably didn't. Anyways, thanks for joining us. Again, what an excellent work the group from Navigate Nights is doing up in British Columbia with Canvas specifically. Listen to the webinar. We're back again tomorrow morning. For anybody interested, we're with our Chief Customer Experience Officer, Melissa Lobel, who's going to be talking with another institution next week, early next week. Put it on your calendars. It's going to be about 7 till 10 a.m. Mountain. Whoa, Monday morning. We are doing a series of streams to help anybody who may be having some kind of issues right now with going back to school. We know things are crazy. Our support team is battling, as you can imagine, with just a crazy amount of things that are coming in. So we are doing a massive amount of streams next week for 3 hours that are everything from assignments or creating quizzes, how to use the grade book, importing course content, kind of the top things that support gets hit up about. We'll be covering those next week. So tell your teachers, tell your friends, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell anybody you want to. 7 a.m. next week, Mountain Daylight Time, will be here. Thanks again to the NICE team. We will see you all tomorrow morning. Thank